Hi, everybody. This is Randy here, doing another podcast. My friends call me Randy Silver. They call me Randy Silver for a reason, which this reason will unfold and you'll see why. Bear with me. I'm driving. If I don't stare into the camera and have eye contact with you. Anyway, so let me tell you a little bit about myself. In 1984, I started working with patterns in my life. Learned how to do ceramic tile. So since then, I've worked with patterns after patterns after patterns. And about 27 years ago, I decided I want to figure out what makes me tick. So I dove into studying human potential and all the greats, the Earl Nightingales and the Lloyd Conants and the Bob Proctors, and just to name a few. There's probably 50. Anyway, with that being said, about 10 years ago, I wanted to learn something that I knew nothing about, and that something was money. I knew how to earn it. I knew how to spend it. But I really didn't understand the whole system that is underlying that part of the matrix, so to speak. So about 10 years ago, I decided to learn. I shut off my social life and I decided to learn about money. So the first thing I did was Googled money. And what came up was Mike Maloney from goldsilver.com. Mike Maloney had a series of videos called Hidden Secrets of Money. That was how I cut my teeth on in the beginning of my education, which took us back to ancient Rome. I suggest everybody starts there because you're probably noticing by now your 401s or 401ks are kind of going down, your investments are going down, and you think, it'll come up. Well, it may not. But I'm not a financial advisor by any stretch of imagination. However, I think everybody should really start learning about the hidden secrets of money and how the whole banking system works. So I started learning about macroeconomics, and 10 and 12 hours a day. Hopefully the road noise isn't too loud for you guys. If it is, I'll read through this video. And I often wonder why we're so ignorant on how the system itself works and how it stays afloat. And there's something that the Romans started. Ancient Rome started something called bread and circus, where they realized the population was easier to control with bread and circus, which means they had Colosseums and they gave them bread. They kept them entertained, and that's when they realized that if we're divided, that it's easier to control our thinking and our actions. As Rome failed, that was relatively very beneficial until it wasn't. So bread and circus today has evolved to things like football, Dancing with the Stars, Honey Boo Boo, television. They tell a vision what they want you to hear and how to program your thinking and thoughts. And it's very effective. Very effective. So, where do we go from here? Television, Hollywood. We talk about Hollywood. You watch a movie, there's an agenda on it. Hollywood was actually a real tree. If you Google it, you'll see Hollywood had supposed magical benefits, properties. So if you had a branch of the Hollywood tree, you could actually do magic. So that's why Hollywood was named what it is. So if you think about it, every program that you watch is a program. Every program your children watches is a program. They're being programmed a certain way, a certain narrative. I know it sounds conspiratorial just because it is. And once you start thinking about some of the things we're doing you'll say to yourself, why is it like that? That's what I did. I asked why so many times. Yeah, my friends didn't like that very well. But why do you do that? Why do we do this? Why do we do that? And recently, once I figured out the answers to those questions, or most of them, I still do ask why. I started asking how, which is actually a better question, and just leave it open-ended. Like, how do we fix this thing? How do we live together in harmony, more peacefully? How do we recognize all this divisiveness, and how do we put an end to it? So they set up the two-party system, the Republicans and Democrats, and I say to people, would you rather be ruled by the Democratic Party, or would you rather be ruled by the Republican Party? And that helps put us at even though you might be leaning one way or another, at least we can kind of think about that. So, I really don't want to be ruled by anybody. So anyway, so I started looking at patterns deeper and deeper and deeper, and went into relationships, mostly about myself and why I attracted why do I attract what I attract. For the last 10 years, I guess, I've been living pretty much a hermit, trying to just kind of like Ralph Waldo Emerson, just trying to figure it all out, just being alone. And one of the first things I decided to do was, after I stopped, ended my social life pretty much, in 2010, maybe it's 2011, that, why I started questioning everything. And I started questioning everything by doing this. I'd say, I assumed everything we've been taught is a lie, even if it isn't. I just said, okay, let's assume this is a lie, from religion to health, to pick a subject, right? Going to the doctor. And I realized, this is a whole huge subject, but I realized that basically, I'd like to get right down to the root cause and the root common denominator. And it came to me quite a while ago that we really don't know who we are. And you might laugh at it. Yeah, I make a lot of jokes, so I do bring levity to everything. However, if we knew how powerful our thoughts are, we would be predicting our future a lot better. Now, there's some reasons that people get the results they get. Maybe they don't want those kind of results, but they still stay at it. Kind of like the abused woman gets with the alcoholic, abusive husband, kind of like how Dad was, or maybe someone farther in our lineage. Because all the atrocities that we have incurred over generations and generations, for hundreds, thousands of years, they have gone into our DNA by shock treatment, so to speak. Anger, resentment, right? And that kind of yanked us all out of time. We're supposed to be in the present moment. And I learned this from Master Jati, so I have to give credit where credit's due. I've had a lot of great teachers over the years. So the behaviors that we have and are generally passed down from generations and from the environment to which we're being programmed, by the television, by the media, by our education system. And speaking of the education system, why are our numbers so low? That's by design. They don't want us to know who we are. Could you imagine if we knew that we could heal our own bodies? Wow, that's kind of amazing, right? We've been focused to find happiness where? Not inside, but outside, right? So there's some techniques that I've learned to reset the cells of my body and look for happiness inside of me. Now, I've been guilty of the other, and I'm not 100% there yet, but it's a good process. The more we focus on ourselves, take care of ourselves, that actually changes our energy source. It changes who we are, and then we start attracting better and better people. So if you look at your parents just on a basic level, and you say, what, I was created by these two people, and they all have issues, or maybe they don't, but They all have issues that have been passed down to you by the DNA on an energetic level. So you're kind of yanked out of time. You're kind of back in time, and your spirit is not in the moment. Your thoughts, your presence are not in the present moment, and that's where we are the most creative, when we focus on the present moment and who we are, if that makes some sense. So there are a lot of techniques you can use. So, sorry, I'm driving. So with that being said, let's say you're not getting the results you get. What do we do? Or maybe you get angry a lot. It's all part of a program. Everything that we do is part of a program, part of a system. It might take you a lifetime to think about that, but we've all been programmed to have relationships. We've been programmed to have certain types of relationships. We've been programmed to act a certain way. We've been programmed to get married, have kids. We've been programmed to get divorced. We've been programmed to fight, to be in love. So anyway, as I go farther down into this, you'll see what I mean, and you'll find some useful tactics, a tool, so to speak. For instance, yesterday I was at the dentist getting some dental work done, and I was talking to one of the young ladies that are getting married at the desk, and she said, yeah, she's getting married. And I said, oh, well, okay. And we were talking about the finance part of it, and I said, yeah, it's pretty expensive to get married. She says, yeah. And and I said to her, I said, well, could I offer a little bit of advice? And she said, well, sure. I said, well, when we first get together in relationships, we kind of look at each other for that fulfillment, right? Which is important. Okay. But as time goes by, we realize that we have that fulfillment. We get kind of bored with that person, maybe. Not always. This is not an always, this is just a general statement. And I said, one of the biggest pieces of unwarranted advice I could give you is, when you get to that point of looking at each other, start looking in the same direction. Start looking in the same direction and keep looking in the same direction. So, and she thought that was some really good advice. So hopefully that'll help people kind of, if they're stuck a little bit. And start looking into your programs. It's easier to look at other people's programs, like your significant other, your spouse, or whoever, your friends. But that's okay to do that. But realize that you attracted them. So there's a part of you or part of me that actually, is running that program, perhaps, maybe. So anyway, once I realized that I want to get over this feeling of neediness, loneliness, kind of a thing, and it takes time. It's not easy. That it kind of opened me up to learning new things. I've learned so many new things in the last 10 years, and probably the biggest thing is about me, and how much that builds your character when we continue to learn about ourselves and grow ourselves and help each other, through some times. But sometimes people are so arrogant that they know the answer, and we're not going to listen to them. Okay, but that's okay. I mean, people are aware where they're at, where they're at. Maybe that's their life course, and let it go. Sometimes that's easier said than done, because you really want that person to change. Well, guess what? You're not going to change them. You'd have an easier time, or a better chance of changing an apple into an orange than changing your friends or anybody's mind. They've got to want to do it, So anyway, so now I've been studying the macroeconomics for all these years, and I still learn a lot. I'm no financial advisor, like I said. I hope I said it. But last weekend I was down to New Orleans, to the world's largest conference for investment conference, where all the big boys hung out, the gold mines and the oil drillers and the precious metal dealers and the real estate guys, and I wanted to go down there because all these guys I've been learning from were going to be there. George Gant, James Grant was there. You probably recognize him. He's on CNBC. Danielle DiMartino Booth, Jim Rickards, just to name a few. There's the economic ninja. He was there. I like watching. He's kind of fun. He's had a lot of businesses and success in real estate. Chris Taylor is another good guy. He's how to prepare for what's coming, because I haven't even talked about that yet. So, so here we are. I'm not going to go on too long because there's more to come. There's a lot more to talk about, how to improve your life, and it's pretty easy, even though we're just not taught that. We're not taught about economics. I'm like, why don't we teach economics in school? Macroeconomics, just some basics to even start. It's because they don't want us to know. They don't want you to know that the system's coming apart. And they don't want you to know that fiat currencies go to almost zero, if not zero, over history. They don't want you to know about silver and gold, how that's real money, and everything else is just a derivative. Rafi Farber, he says it's just a money substitute. The dollars, the cryptos, all of it. The only thing that's real is the physical metals, which you talk to any 10 out of your 10 friends, I'll bet none of them know about silver and what it's for, gold, what it's for. But you're going to wake up one day and realize that your money's worthless as you see inflation hitting. So anyway, I am home, and I hope you guys have a great afternoon, a great day. And I'm learning how to do this YouTube thing, so bear with me. I'm new at it. It's fun. I think everybody should do it. So anyway, have a good one, and we'll talk soon. Bye.